events, inter-school events, and right through his college and now today professionally. So 25 TV commercials, 5 TV shows, one Bollywood film, and yes, he was the finalist at Stage season 3, and he's part of an all-men acapella group. And let's meet him. Without much ado, let's welcome the one and only, the young and handsome and talented Arish Bhiwandiwala. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
Welcome, Arish. I think I'm so excited to have you on my talk show.
Really glad to be here.
As you can see, and yes, today is a very, very special day. It's Mother's Day, and what a wonderful day to have you on my talk
Yeah.
show, because I know how much every mother does for their child, but where your mother's concerned, we have seen it. Brilliant. So, without much ado, let's start our conversation. Harish, say what?
Sure.
Yeah. So, Arish, ever since a tiny toddler of 3 years old age, you've been singing, you've been acting, and all through your school life, all through your college life, we have seen so many times that you have performed brilliantly, and of course, now you've made it your profession. So, please share us all about your journey.
So like you said, it started when I was 3 years old.
Right.
And it's always been a passion of mine to be on stage, to be the center of attention, and and to be in front of the camera.
Okay.
Um, so until about the age of 10, I was like completely focused on like school activities where I'd be acting and singing.
Yeah.
And when I was 10 years old, one of my class teachers asked me if I'd be interested in representing the school for an inter-school elocution competition, which was being conducted by Royal Padamsee. So
Right.
I was like, sure, because I like doing it, so why not?
Yeah.
I did that, and I ended up winning the competition. And Ryle, thank you. And at that time, Ryle's assistant asked my parents if I'd be
Yeah.
interested in doing like TVCs, TV commercials, and TV shows
Yeah.
and stuff. And I never really thought about it as a possibility. So at that time, I was like, sure, why not? I mean,
Yeah.
I get to be in front of a camera too. So let's do this.
Yeah.
And I went for about 30, 40 auditions when I was like 10, and nothing materialized.
Okay.
And then just out of the blue, I got an ad for Britannia. So I said, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I remember the shoot was happening at Mud Island, and I was called at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Um, they ended up setting up my shot at 9 p.m. And I was on set with my kaku, so he was quite concerned whether I'd be able to do a good job after just sitting around for
Yeah.
14 hours.
Yeah.
We finished the shoot in an hour and a half, and on the way back home, he asked me like, "Are you like, did you enjoy it? Is this something like you'd ever consider like doing for a long period of time or again?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I loved it. I mean, I definitely want to do it again." And he was quite taken aback by that. Um,
Yeah.
but the little taste that I got on that day uh, has just kept me going when it comes to acting,
Right.
because it's an unbelievable thrill to be in front of the camera. Um, I have to thank my school for grooming me in a way whereby I'm confident on stage in front of the camera, whether I'm singing, acting, or performing in front of a live audience. I,
Yeah.
I I need to thank my teachers and everyone in my family because they're all responsible for that. So
Yeah.
after that, I had again like the auditions continued. I did about 20. I've done about 25 ads until now,
Right.
for brands like Maggie, Domino's, Burger King, McDonald's. I've
Yeah.
I've covered at least I think one brand in each category of uh, like items that exist. So I
Superb,
think that's pretty
superb.
decent.
Absolutely
um,
fantastic, I would say.
and I can say I hit the jackpot at 13 when I was cast to play the role of Junior Hrithik Roshan in the movie Agnipath.
Yes,
And
yes.
that was really the turning point because getting to work with Dharma Productions, to work with superstars like Hrithik Roshan, Priyanka Chopra, Rishi Kapoor, Sanjay Dutt, it was a dream come true. I couldn't possibly ask for more.
Yeah,
And it was a very interesting experience considering that I was a kid and no one was really bossy on set. Everyone was just like very welcoming, very nurturing. If you'd go wrong, you wouldn't get yelled at, you'd be corrected, you'd be
right.
guided through the process.
Oh, that's nice.
And
Yeah,
it's very sweet because one of my fondest memories was of this time where I was shooting a scene with Om Puri ji.
right.
And sorry, sorry.
Yeah,
I
no
was
worries.
shooting a scene with Om Puri ji, and for some reason, I just couldn't get the emotion right because it was a shot that just had my face in it.
Right.
So very sweetly and completely out of the blue, he said, "Okay, don't worry. Even though I'm not there in the scene, I'll stand behind the camera so that you know that, so that you actually feel like you're talking to me."
Right.
And that just goes to show that, like, no matter how big the artists are,
Yeah.
it's very important to always be grounded because
Yeah.
he's someone who's made us laugh for decades. And
Decades.
I like when I saw him, the first thing that came to my mind was, oh, Hera Fairy and ton of other movies that he's done. And
Right.
he was so sweet about it, so simple and very
Yeah.
nurturing. And I think that was very beautiful.
Yeah. I think, Arish, kudos and salute you. You've had, I mean, at such a young age, you've experienced so much. And, when you see the stars out there being so humble, it makes a world of a difference. Your
Yeah,
entire perspective completely, changes,
exactly.
and you say, okay, this is what reality is.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I think that's absolutely awesome that you got to
yeah.
experience that. That's wonderful. And you yourself, have done so much. The fact that for your first ad, for a child to wait for 14 hours is really trying that child's patience, and
I know.
you being a boy child, the most
I mean, for
high,
me, it was actually very exciting because it was my
yeah,
first time on any kind of set.
right,
So, I mean, I'd been given a room and I was just told to wait until I was called. So I said,
yeah,
okay. But most of the time, I'd just be roaming around on set, just watching how things are working because I never imagined that
okay,
while on screen I see two people, there are
right,
actually another 100 people working behind the camera.
wow,
So
okay,
that had never
yeah,
sunk in until I actually
right,
reached set and I realized, oh, there are so many people. So it
correct,
literally
correct.
takes an army to make like a 30-second ad.
Uh,
And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of effort the actors put in is commendable, but I mean, you also need to recognize all the effort that goes in by the entire team that's behind the camera
Entire.
because they are
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
3 hours before you and they leave 2 hours after you do. So
Yeah.
if you think pulling a 12-hour shift is difficult, you need to imagine
Yeah.
someone else pulling a 17-hour shift.
Correct. All the technicians really just salute them for being
Yeah,
there and
absolutely.
being completely, absolutely ready for the shot, And that one shot could
Absolutely.
go on and on and on with a
Yeah.
number of takes and retakes. Yeah. So
I mean,
very
you'll never
well
hear them
said.
complain.
Yeah, yeah, very well said, Arish. I totally agree
Thank
with
you.
you, and a very good point that you brought up. So, Arish, then of course, school finished, you participated in a whole lot of inter-school competitions, and of course, you started your professional life in school itself, and then college happened, and of course, you continued, and of course, then we moved towards participating in stage.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was incredible. So the stage was India's only English singing reality
English,
TV show at
yes,
that point.
yes, yes.
And when the first season had come out, Sunny sir, who was my music teacher from school,
Right.
told me about it. That, oh, there's an English singing show. Were you aware of it? And I had no idea about it. Um, and I said, okay, you know what? Season one is going on right now, so it's too late. But when
Correct.
season two happens, I'll audition for it. Let's see.
Correct.
You never know.
Right.
I auditioned for season two, and I actually didn't get in uh, because I made a mistake in my audition, one tiny mistake, but I thought
Oh,
they might overlook it.
okay.
Um, when I didn't get in, I actually realized that okay, it's kind of the big leagues out here.
Yeah.
There's really no room to make mistakes,
Six.
so I need to work harder. I need to prep, and
Correct.
until that point in time, which was about 2017, if I'm not mistaken, I was 18, 19 years old, and music was just something I did for fun. For me,
Mm,
acting was like my future
mm,
profession, my future goal. I never considered that you know I can have a future in singing because I mainly
right.
sang English.
Yeah.
Um, once I auditioned for season three, I got into the top 50. I
Yeah.
realized that one, it is competitive, um, and two, there is actually a market that does listen to Indian artists that sing English songs.
Right.
From at like in my head, the indie music space was something that not a lot of people listen to. But
Mm-hmm.
it turns out that I was actually wrong about that because
Mm-hmm.
there is quite a good audience for it. We have some beautiful artists from India like Tejas, Mali, and they're incredible. And being on the show uh, was actually a life changing experience because it started out with me being one of the youngest people in the top 50. I was probably like the fifth youngest kid in the top 50. And I distinctly remember, like, after the first round, when
Mm-hmm.
half the people were eliminated and we were paired up for duets, my vocal coach said that I do not think you are ready to be here because it will take a lot. You are very young, and you need to be more in touch with yourself to survive on the show because it's not easy.
Mm.
And my first round had gone pretty well. So in my head, I was like, maybe it's not all that difficult. It's probably is
Mhm.
just being exaggerated. Um, but like when I actually had to work for the second round, I realized it's not all that easy.
Yeah.
And I realized why people were getting eliminated left, right, and center. Why
Mm.
the judges were saying the things they were, either to
Yeah.
groom us or because they genuinely feel like we can do better, or they think
Right.
we genuinely put in a bad performance.
Right.
Um, After that, once I reached the top 12, it was actually a very difficult time for me because that was the time
Mm.
I was in my final year of college. So it was right with my board exams. So it was kind of a overlap out there. And it was actually an interesting period of time because every day we'd be given slots for rehearsal. So I'd be rehearsing. And when I wouldn't be rehearsing, I'd be studying. So
Yeah.
that's how I spent 1.5 months of the show. But
Super.
it was a beautiful experience. There
Yeah.
were ups and downs. There were 3 weeks where I was not performing to my best,
Right.
either because I was unable to, either because my mind was not there. And sometimes it's just that thing where you feel like you've done a good job, but you haven't.
Yeah.
And some of the judges were harsh on me, but I don't regret that at all
Mm.
because the judges that were, in fact, they did come up to me after the rounds and tell me that, you did a good job, but the reason why we're being harsh on you is because we know you can do better. So
Better.
unless we
Yes.
push you, you're not going to get there. And
Right.
you have it in you to get to the finals. So we're not going to go easy on you. And
Correct.
that's something I really appreciate, because that's
Right.
that's the way I've been raised by my school and by my parents, where
Right.
if you're not doing your best, you will be held accountable for not doing your best.
True. True. True.
Because once they know that you can, maybe you can give 100 on 100, a 90 on 100 is just not acceptable.
Yeah.
And that is something I that's
Mm-hmm.
been stuck in my head since I got out of the show, that
Right.
no matter where you're performing, whether you're performing in front of 100 people at a
Mm.
college, or whether you're performing in front of 10,000 people at an arena, you
Yeah.
need to be at the top
True.
of your game. Then whether
Yeah.
they watch or they don't watch, none of your concern.
Correct. Correct.
All you have to
Correct.
do is go out,
Yeah.
give a brilliant performance, so that when you get off stage, you know that you've done your best, and
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yes. I guess you have
So
to
yeah,
prepare 1,000% for
yeah,
whatever, Yeah. So I totally agree.
yeah. And it was after the show that I actually started getting a little bit of work that was music related, which came as a surprise to me, because for me, I never thought of music as a career. For me, it was always acting as a career. Music is a
Right.
hobby. That's
Right.
how I'm going to spend the rest of my life.
Mm.
But the show opened up a few new avenues for me, and I was actually quite surprised. I got into an acapella group called
Mm.
Instrument,
Instrument. Yeah.
uh, and usually, I mean, the acapella is not a popular concept in India, firstly, and
True.
secondly, the acapella groups that you come across in India are primarily male and female.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So we thought it was quite unique if we can manage to put together a group of six guys,
Yeah.
and it's worked well in our favor. As always, good things take time. It took us about a year and a half to get our first show. Until
Okay.
then, it was all just prepping for the first show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've seen that a lot of people tend to give up when they don't see results.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it takes a little bit of time. Like,
Yes.
you need to put in that a lot of effort consistently over a period of time in order to reach that some semblance of success. It's not about
True.
reaching the top in the
Mm.
beginning,
Right.
just to have a sense of, oh,
Mm.
I am achieving something,
Mm-hmm.
and this will go further.
Right.
um, so that it's I think it's true in every field, especially in the art field. And that was the case with Instrument. Now it's been about it'll be almost 3 years since we've been together. We've performed
Yeah.
for a lot of corporate events. We've
Superb.
done a lot of private shows.
Right.
And as in fact, being part of an a cappella group helped me grow as a musician.
Yeah.
And I felt like, and then I started doing a couple of jingles and recording sessions here and there. I mean, a lot of times, again, when you feel like you're doing really well, some small thing might happen which might not work in your favor. You might get a little
Yes.
bummed out, but I feel like that's just like, the universe's way of testing you to
Yeah.
see if you really deserve the things it has planned for you.
Right.
Because it's, at least in my experience, it's never been like all smooth
Right.
sailing, everything's hunky dory. There will always be ups and downs. Like, for me, an up was being on the finals of the show. The
Mm.
down was not getting any music related work for the next 1 year.
Right. Right. Right.
It took a year. It took a year's gap. It took a year's effort to actually get some more work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it slowly started picking up. Then,
Excellent.
when I felt like, oh, things are going great, things tanked again for a bit. Then they again started going good. So it's always been up and down for
Yeah.
me. But I
Yes.
think that's just helped me shape the kind of person I hope to be.
And especially with COVID hitting us, I think the entire world was
Definitely.
completely shaken up,
Yeah.
Arish, because of it. So, but yet I feel that, you have done a brilliant job where your profession is concerned. Because the thing is, when you have patience, okay, and you know that, you have to wait, okay, it'll happen. And but at the same time, you're working at it, you're not giving
Yeah.
up, continuously working at it and continuously improving and improvising. I think that's the most important thing. So
Yeah.
now I'm going to request you, Irish, today being Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
Would you like to dedicate a song to your mom and to all the
Sure.
wonderful mothers? Yes. Can we have a few lines? I'm sorry to trouble you.
No, no worries. So, in fact, this is actually one of my favorite songs that I've ever heard
Right.
in my life. I sang it for an inter-school competition when I was a kid. It's
Okay.
called Ma from Tare Zameen, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's one of Shankar Ehsaan Loy's most beautiful composition, in my
Yes.
opinion.
A- And you're going to make me cry because the song always makes me cry.
Sorry, I'll just
Yeah, please, please. So, guys, we're gonna have Arish sing for us. Isn't that brilliant? And that too on this wonderful special day. That's Mother's Day. Hmm.
मैं कभी बतलाता नहीं पर अंधेरे से डरता हूँ मैं माँ
Yeah.
यूं तो मैं दिखलाता नहीं तेरी परवाह करता हूँ मैं माँ तुझे सब है पता है ना माँ तुझे सब है पता मेरी माँ
Wow.
Thank you.
You were singing, and I had to have a sip of water. Otherwise, the tap would start, and then it would be very difficult to control it.
Thank you.
But brilliantly, brilliantly sung. I mean, it
Thank
really,
you.
thank you so much, Arish. That was really, really wonderful. Well, so Arish, now that we're almost, towards the end of our talk show, I don't want it to end so soon, but as we know, all good things come to an end for better things
True.
to
Time
happen.
flies when you're having
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So, what are your future plans, Arish? Are you open
Um,
to performing as in Bollywood, singing, everything? I mean, just can you tell our viewers more about?
well, my future goal, my final goal in life is to be a Bollywood actor who sings his own songs.
Lovely.
Because that's something that I've never been able to wrap my head around. Because I distinctly remember as a kid seeing 4 or 5 different male lead actors on screen. All of
Yeah.
them are singing, but they just sound the same, which
Yeah.
is quite impossible.
Yeah.
And then later on, probably at the age of 7 or 8, I realized that, okay, it's not the actors who are singing their own
Yeah.
songs, and that is
Playback
terribly
singing.
disappointing. Yeah. And that's when I realized that there is a whole playback singing industry that
That's
exists that
true.
I had
Yeah.
absolutely no idea about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's when I realized, oh, no, so it's Udit Narayan who's the guy who's singing for 10
Sangam.
different people on screen and
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah.
just lip syncing. So
Yeah.
that's something that never really sunk in for me. That's something that's always bothered me in a way.
Right.
And for me, it was always like, okay, in school when we do Broadway, I'm
Yeah.
singing, I'm only acting.
Acting.
So,
Yeah.
why can't professionals do it?
Correct.
And
Correct.
then I realized that since not a lot of them do it, it's something that I would like to do. Like, I really wouldn't want to see my face on screen and have someone else sing for me.
Right. Right.
Um, so that is one of my final goals, to see myself on screen singing my own songs. um, and I also want to get into Bollywood playback singing,
Right.
because it's a beautiful experience. And I hadn't started uh, Hindi music training as such until about 4 or 5 years ago. Because for me, I always trained in Western music, because Parsi kid from
Yeah.
South Bombay, who's gonna give him Hindi songs to sing? That was always the that was always my thought process. But the more I fine tuned my Hindi, the more I realized, okay,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can sing in English, I can sing in Hindi as well.
Correct.
So I started training, and I think uh, getting into Bollywood playback singing is also something that I'd really like to do.
Super.
And of course, along with that, the live shows that we do at uh, clubs and private events,
Right.
the live shows that you do along with artists,
Yeah.
it's all beautiful. And actually, one last thing I'd like to mention is that 2 years ago in December, which is December 2019,
Okay.
um, there's an annual festival called BMP, which is the Bollywood Music Project, which is organized by TM Talents. They bring in a Bollywood artist to perform live for 30 to 45 minutes at the Geo Gardens. So they
Mm.
usually have two stages set up side by side with a huge gap in between, so that the sound doesn't overlap. And that year was the first time I was part of a team that was performing at BMP. So I was singing with the singer called Divya Kumar,
Right.
and we had a guest star performing that morning, who turned out to be Arijit Singh. So
Yeah.
we were given a call time of 10 a.m.
Yeah.
and we were there at 10.
Mm.
And we got onto stage at 11 o'clock, and I saw Arijit Singh on our stage,
Right.
um, in his trousers and slippers, just a guitar strapped around him, just scribbling some stuff on a paper. And I was quite taken aback, because I said, okay, we are here to perform with Divya Kumar. Why is Arijit here? It's a pleasant surprise. Then we were told by the organizers that he just felt like coming and performing today, and Divya really looks up to him, so he's going to perform with Divya. And we were like,
Correct.
okay, do we need to do anything, or just? They were like, no, no, y'all can just, like, chill when he sings his song.
Right.
Then I realized something very important that day. He was performing one of his own songs, which he sang the song called Chunar, which is one of his most popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
He came 2 hours early. He was sitting down and writing the chords of the song, practicing it on a guitar in one little corner of the stage. And it was unbelievable, because someone at that level
Yes.
is coming in the
Yeah.
morning, rehearsing. He was singing one
Right. Right.
song, three and a half
Song. Yeah.
minutes max. He rehearsed for about 2 hours for that 3 minute thing, and
Right.
it was incredible.
Yeah.
During the show, he just wore a hoodie. He wore
Yeah.
a mask, like he covered up everything except for his eyes, and he was just playing the guitar for the rest of the songs.
Yeah.
The minute he took off his hoodie, everyone from the second stage ran onto this side, and it was jam packed. And like there were at least 3,000 people in a space that could only fit
Yeah.
1,500. So
Yeah.
that is when I knew that, okay, this is the level I want to reach someday. Because
Super. Super.
standing backstage listening to him sing, the way he made me feel is what I want to make people feel. So that
Super.
is my life goal.
Super thinking, Arish. Super thinking. And I think these are the most memorable experiences,
Yeah,
that we get to
yeah,
learn. And this learning, goes with us for the rest of our professional lives. I
yeah,
can totally understand
exactly.
what you say,
Yeah,
because I had a
I mean,
similar
yeah,
experience. Yeah, so brilliant, absolutely. But it's wonderful for you to say that, even I want to, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And amazing. Kudos to you, Arish.
I
Kudos.
mean, that Dutch would have come across so many
Yeah,
um, people who can be categorized as A-list
yeah.
celebrities, and
Like,
all of them are so grounded and so
um,
humble
yeah,
that
yeah.
it makes you realize how important it is,
Important.
that no
Yeah.
matter who you are, no matter what
Mm,
heights you reach, it's always important to stay grounded
true.
and to guide
True.
others who you can guide.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's something that's always going to stay with me.
Wonderful, Arish. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
And this is the time where I'd really like to thank Arish's parents, who are wonderful people, and kudos to them, because I feel parents and family support is, I think, extremely important. And he has a wonderful
Definitely,
brother
definitely.
too,
Yeah.
who's also a brilliant. He's also dabbled into acting and things like that. So it's really wonderful to have such a great family. And a special thank you to Sir Savio Alfonso for getting us the Arish Bhiwandiwala on my talk show. That's Dr. Suhani Kisang, Arts or Culture Ka Sangam. Truly, truly, this is something which is most memorable for me, because Arish, you are a campionite. My children also went to campion. Yes, we've seen you growing up from that age. We've seen you participating in shows, and today you are doing so brilliantly, professionally, and
Thank you.
it's so wonderful to know uh, your thoughts, your thinking, and how you want to take your professional life ahead, the path that you want to walk on.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Auntie.
Well, before we go, I'd definitely like to, as I say in each and every of my episode, guys, please stay safe and please think positive and take all precautions. And most importantly, if there's something worrying you, don't keep it bottled up within you. Share it with a friend that you trust or a family member that you trust, but communicate, talk about it. And अगर कोई नहीं मिला तो हम तो है, please online पे है on all the handles, right from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I am very much there by the same name, Dr. Sohani Mantonsa. So please contact EJ in whatever way we can support you. We will definitely see to it that we do support you. Because by keeping it bottled up within you, you're just going to harm your health, and that's not going to help. If you are healthy, you can look after your family, which is most important. So, on this note, on this wonderful day, that's Mother's Day, and having this brilliant boy, I can call him a boy, rightfully, because I've seen him growing up, right, Arish?
Definitely.
Who's turned out to be such a wonderful artist. That's Arish Bhiwandiwala. Guys, to everyone who's present here, he's available on Instagram. Please go and follow him, and please go and check him out. And to all people who you heard, yes, acting is, that's what his calling is. So you have a brilliant star here. Make the most of it. And
Thank you.
he is an amazing singer too. You guys heard what a dedication to all, to his mom first, and then of course to all the wonderful mothers. So on that note, today is Sunday evening. Tomorrow onwards is working day. So have a great working week ahead. Have a great evening ahead. God bless each and every one of you. And yes, before I forget, please, 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 please do go on my YouTube channel and please do like, share, subscribe, and yes, most important, comment. Very important. Your feedback is very valuable. Okay. Thanks again, Arish. It was
Thank you so much
wonderful
for having
having
me,
this
Auntie.
conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone, and
Bye.
God